You know, there's a lot of outcry because in America, some people want to do away with Roe versus Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that allowed abortion to be legal in all 50 states. People that call themselves pro-choice are so against this. They think it's a blot on the landscape of American culture that some people would call for this decision to be reversed because it violates a woman's right to her reproductive freedom. Is America bad in reproductive freedom? Let's first of all note that Roe versus Wade simply struck down a state law. If Roe versus Wade were to be eliminated today, the decision regarding whether abortion would be legal would be left up to the states, and many states would leave it legal. Without Roe versus Wade, there would still be plenty of what people want to call reproductive freedom. But let's move on from that. These same people that call themselves pro-choice in America are often from the same liberal group of thinking that once criticizes America for being so arrogant. It's from the multicultural crowd. A lot of these same criticisms. If you want to talk about reproductive freedom, what about a woman's right to have a child? What about a woman's right to complete a pregnancy rather than terminate a pregnancy? And let's look at the world's most populous nation, China. And tell me if America is better or worse on reproductive freedom than China. Where you have women's right to complete a pregnancy being usurped on a national level. The national government sets limits on reproductive freedom. You have the national government coming in and forcefully terminating pregnancies that they deem are unwanted, when the women would love to be having those children. And yet here in the United States, we have an outcry because some people would advocate that the decision to legalize or to allow abortions should be left to individual states. This is an outcry. Will these same pro-choice activists stand up against China and their human rights violations in the area of reproduction? Oh, I highly doubt it. They'll stand up to free Tibet. That's on their agenda against China, but the forced abortions, not so much of an issue with the multicultural crowd against China. You know, all these violations, the gays, the way the gays are treated here in America, seems so horrible to all the multicultural crowd. The disenfranchisement of blacks and things like that in the vote. America has the blight of slavery on its cultural conscience. When slavery was ended, you know, 140 plus years ago. And slavery is still going on. In other parts of the world. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like America's all that bad. Yeah, we've got work to do. But, you know, the perfect is often the enemy of the good. We have such wide acceptance of other religious views. We have such wide acceptance of the status that women should attain, of equality, I guess I would call it. We have a very broad view of equality. We believe it applies to all people, of all races, of all genders, of all sexes, sexual orientation. We have such a broad view of equality. Are there areas where we don't carry out the values that we say we have as a society? Yes. Yes, there are those areas. But we're far, far, far advanced in the areas and the concepts that even the multiculturalists themselves pretend to espouse than the rest of the world is. And I don't think it's bad. I can't seem to find it within myself to feel bad that I call America great. And I don't apologize for it. And I thank God for it. We can talk about this subjection of women and everything else. But we're doing a lot better here. A lot better than in other parts of the world. It's not even close, really. It's by a mile. If you talk about Western culture versus all other cultures in the world, the concept of liberty, freedom, democracy, and equality, religious tolerance, human rights, we're way above. We're way above where the rest of the world is trying to get to. And I don't apologize for it. I'm not sorry for it. Only thing I can pray for is that God speeds of the day when the other cultures are as accepting and tolerant as we are.